All right, here we go. What's going on? Thank y'all for tuning into my channel, and this is my keloid journey kind of thing. So let's just jump right into it. I've been struggling with keloids my whole life. Well, maybe not my whole life, but I can remember getting my first keloid around the age of 17, maybe 16, maybe 16. I had chickenpox late in life. When I did have chickenpox, it was an aggressive form of chickenpox, and it spread throughout my whole body. And then when it decided to heal itself, I had 2 keloids on my back. And then a little bit later, I got this thing called pityriasis rosacea, which is like a cousin of psoriasis. And so that's when I first started to see the appearance of keloids on me. And we didn't know what it was. I was so young. But I can remember I played football, and I had really, really high self-esteem. So the fact that they would say things about me in the locker room didn't necessarily affect me mentally. I just kind of felt like that's what we do, because I was roasting everybody else that was in there too. So they would talk about the keloids on my back. So that was the first time that I knew that something was different about my skin. Fast forward throughout college, so I would shave my chest and stuff. As my hairs would start to grow in, I would notice like little small bumps here and there, and I'm thinking they razor bumps, razor bumps or whatever from a nick or something, and they just never went away. So I've got some keloids on my chest, one's on my back, one's on my chest, and then the one on my ear. So the one on my ear started also in college. I didn't pierce my ears in high school. I wore magnets. I even wore magnets on prom night. So my freshman semester of college, me and like 6 other people went and got, earrings. I got one in the left and right at the same time in a little kiosk in the middle of the mall. They gave us these instructions on how to take care of your earrings and your piercing. You're supposed to keep them in for like 6 weeks or something like that. Me, I kept the earrings in, and then when I was ready to take them out, I just took them out and I would let them close up. It wasn't my right ear stayed open. My left ear would close up every time, the ear that eventually had the keloid, and I just kept popping it through. And so that was the first little bit of trauma. My senior year, I wore my earrings to football practice. They got ripped out of my ears. So I had like a little snake split on my earlobe, and then it started to heal, and when it healed back, the keloid started to form. I've gotten it removed 4 times, so this would be the 4th time, maybe the 5th. I done lost count this many times. The first one was right after my wedding. There would be a picture over here, over there, or somewhere. And then I got it cut off immediately after that, and a few more times after that. So let's fast forward to January of 2020. I had a keloid that was growing, and it was at the point to where it was not letting me sleep through the night, that there was pain. I was basically on a steady regimen of Tylenol every night before bed. I set up an appointment in February to go see a dermatologist. The day before the appointment, they said we're pushing back all appointments, and literally that next week COVID hit. Then they canceled all appointments. So at this time now, it's about the size of, I don't know, let's see, a chicken nugget. It's about the size of a chicken nugget. Over the course of the next, 4 months, it just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. Around May, I believe, May or June, stuff started to open back up. And so then I started trying to actively pursue getting it removed again. And then hurdle after hurdle. I've gotten it removed 4 times. And so I know that it was possible to do without insurance. But this time around, it just was so hard to do without insurance. I made a post about how I'm just basically removing the power from the keloid, because it was stopping me from wearing my hair up like it is. It was stopping me from being on the left side of pictures, because you would be able to see my keloid. It would stop me from certain clothes that I would wear. If it's a denim jacket, it might accidentally catch some of my hair, and so then my ear would be exposed. Like, it was controlling a lot of who I was. You ask anybody around me, I'm a pretty free-spirited guy. And so to be controlled by something so trivial, really ate at me. So I made a post about it. No, I'm not da-da-da-da, you won't control me, whoop-de-whoop. So I was like, if you see me outside with my hair up, don't look at me funny, that kind of thing. I didn't even know that there was so many people out there who had keloids that are dealing with them like that. And so I woke up the next morning DM full of people, you know, telling me their stories over and over and this and that. And then even more people saying, hey, how can we help? How can we donate? And I'm like, what in the world is going on? $6,000 was the initial quote by a plastic surgeon, Dr. Lamb, I believe his name was. I don't ever remember paying $6,000 to get my keloid removed in the past. And so that was something that was kind of weird to me, but he came highly recommended. I mean, all the reviews, everything, people ranting and raving about this guy. And so I'm thinking, shoot, this is a win-win, you know, situation. You know, it may be a lot more than what I was used to paying, but prayerfully it won't come back. We get the process started, and he hits me over the head with, hey, I can't do the surgery unless you get the radiation treatment that comes along with the surgery. And I was like, oh man. And so this is really the next hurdle is the radiation. Was going to cost me $10,000 a session, and I was going to have to get a session the same day of the actual surgery, radiation. He's going to do the surgery, and then I go for radiation the next 4 days. So it was going to cost an additional $40,000 because I didn't have insurance, because I was coming out of pocket. So I finally got that quote. That was the first quote, but I had asked for quotes for tons of doctors. So that was the very first one that I got. And so then when I couldn't get the radiation, it sent me on this roller coaster. I made a post. We had hit our goal for raising the money to get the surgery done, but we were nowhere near $40,000 to get the surgery and radiation. Nowhere near. So I had to go back in and find another doctor that was able to do the surgery. So people were telling me to go to Dr. Blackburn's daughter. Dr. Blackburn is an African-American doctor who specializes in skin conditions. A lot of people said that they had been to Dr. Blackburn. They had been to Dr. Wolford, I believe is her name. And other people were saying they didn't have to do radiation. They didn't do radiation. This person did injections. This one didn't this one did cryotherapy. So she gave them different options. And so I'm hoping that that's going to be my same case, that I can go in and say, hey, look, this is how much I have. This is what we raised. Can we get the surgery done? I go in, she recommended me to go there. And to be honest, I never even saw the doctor. I saw the nurse. The nurse took a picture of it. She came into the room. She took a picture of it. She sent a picture to the doctor, and the doctor was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. She was like, send him to UT. That's how I ended up at UT Southwestern. Did my consultation at UT Southwestern. I saw Dr. Iota. She was the one who recommended cryo. She said that it may be an issue because my keloid was so big. By this time, it's about the size of 2 chicken nuggets stacked on top of each other. She said it would be multiple sessions, and that after each session, I have some pain, quite a bit of pain, because it'll be an open sore. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know, I don't want to do that. She said that it might be cheaper than doing excision, that she didn't know the price that I have to talk to billing. So that's 3 visits that I'm paying full copay. My copay was anywhere from $260 to $330, $300 every time I went into the office. So I'm already out $1,000 so far, $900 something so far. And I haven't even got anything done. Second time seeing Dr. Iota, she says, I sent all your information over to this specialist, Dr. Glass. Recommendations are through the roof. I mean, everybody and their mama is like, this guy is the guy for keloids. And so when I set the appointment up for him again, this is the 4th one, I'm thinking, man, this is going to be it. I'm like, okay, I'm finally finna be in front of the person that's going to do the actual surgery. And he examines me, he looks at it. He's like, I got to be honest, this is what I recommended. So he recommended that I go to a plastic surgeon and that I get the radiation. I wanted to get the radiation because I had never done any post-op anything. So like I would get the surgery and then go on about my way. The stitches will fall out when they fall out, that kind of thing. That was his recommendation, and he said that they can make it affordable if I filled out this paperwork to get like an emergency coverage through the hospital. He referred me to a plastic surgeon. The plastic surgeon required that I do the radiation. So now I'm on the phone with a plastic surgeon, the radiologist, and I'm still keeping in touch with the team from UT Southwestern because they're doing the finances. So now I start that process. I get to the plastic surgeon. I did a virtual consultation with the radiation. What I didn't understand initially is that they're not the same. So I'm having to pay a copay for each one. My initial consultation with the radiation was virtual, and they still charged me $267 for a virtual. And then the consultation for the plastic surgeon was $300, but that was in person. He said he would do the surgery, and he said that it would be a few months before they could even see me because they have to correlate a date. Both of them have to be free on the same day at the same time. And so now I'm in this limbo waiting stage. I don't have a keloid removal date. I'm trying to hear back from the financial team. In that time, I just got frustrated with the whole process. I ain't gonna cap. I went live on Facebook, and I think I went live for something else, and then it just turned into a venting session about, you know, the struggles that I've been having and the pressure that I felt from people because you guys did help me raise the money. And so I felt this pressure to get it done immediately, as fast as possible. And so I felt like this weight, and so many people kept asking for updates. I felt bad because I didn't have no real updates for nobody. You know, the update was the same. I'm waiting on doctors to give me a thumbs up. I'm waiting on the financial team, you know, emergency assistance to kick in. You know, that was the update. And so I just felt the pressure, basically. I felt the pressure, and I was frustrated, and I was low-key questioning the whole thing. Just like, oh. At this point, this day that I'm talking to you, I sat in the car, I immediately realized why so many people with keloid skin live with their scars. I get it now. Of course you want it to be gone, but they having me jump through hoops. It had gotten to a point where I was like, I'm okay with this ear. Almost the same sentiment that I had in the initial post, like, hey, I'm good. I'm taking my hands off, and I'm tired of, you know, going in offices and getting bad news. So basically, I just started to strip the power away from, you know, the situation, strip the power away from the keloid. I made the video, and then literally the next day, I get a phone call from a good friend of mine. He was like, hey, I saw your video. I sent it to a dermatologist that goes to Central Bible. I told her your whole situation, and she wants to know if you can come in tomorrow. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, she wants to know if you can come in tomorrow. She can do your consultation and maybe even the surgery the same day. And so I'm like, no way, it can't be this simple. You know what I'm saying? Because everything has been so hard up until this point. So I'm super skeptical. So I thanked him, and I was like, bro, you know what I'm saying? You don't even know. I went the next day thinking that it would be like all the rest of them, where I would go and she would look at it and say, hey, I'm going to refer you, you know? So I went, and it was Dr. Moore. Her office is not in a high-end luxury building like the rest of the places that I went. It was in Arlington, so it was just an office building with other businesses in there. So I went in, walked through the doors, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I felt something. I didn't know what it was, but I felt something. But it was just a normal little office. It looked like a family practice or whatever. I go, I sign in. You know, the people at the desk are extremely nice. I go to the back. As soon as you cross through the door to get to the back, boom, it's a whole new world. It's scriptures on the wall. It's pictures of them on mission trips. It's crosses. At that point, I realized what I felt. I felt the presence of God. It was very, very strong. I go to the back, I sit down, the nurse comes in, she does her job. She's like, the doctor being, you know, you usually sit in them rooms waiting on the doctor for like 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 sometimes. The nurse walked out, the doctor walked right in. And I don't care what y'all feel about that, but that was a big deal for me. So she comes in and she looks at the ear, she's looking up at it. You know, she's measuring it. She gets a little tape out. So she sits down on her stool, and she looks me in the face, and she gives me a price right there, guys. Like, she doesn't make me go to billing. She don't make me wait. She gives me a price right there. And when I tell you it was a fraction of what we actually raised, which was actually a huge blessing because we had spent so much money just on consultations. She was like, are you ready to do the surgery now? I'm still thinking in my head, like, wait, what? So this is not just a new consultation visit that you want to do the surgery right now? Like, where they do that at? I done been to the top of the top, and none of them done that. They all wanted to just see me first. She was like, all right, if you're ready, we can go ahead and begin. But first, I'm going to pray. And I'm thinking like, what? Like, you finna pray for me right now? She's like, yeah. So she gets down on her hands and knees, fam. She just starts to go to God. This broke me. All the other stuff was really dope. You know, that she gave me the price immediately. I didn't have to wait that long. That there were scripture references. And she looked at the end and it wasn't intimidated about it. Didn't feel like I need to go to an extra specialist. All that was good stuff. But then when she started to pray, I'm not talking no kumbaya, let's hold hand in a circle prayer. I mean, this lady's on her knees, both hands in the sky, crying out to God, asking him to guide her hands during the surgery, asking for a speedy recovery, asking that it would not return. I mean, just like going to God with her request. And I'm in that mud like, I low-key wanted to open my eyes and look around like, are y'all pranking me right now? Is this doctor really praying for, is the doctor praying for me? Blew my mind. I'm crying at this point. And she says amen. She gets up and she tells me to lay down. The anesthesiologist comes in and she numbed me up. And then my whole left side was gone. I'm droopy in that mud. She took her little scalpel, cut that mug up, chopped that mug off. So by this point, it's the size of a cutie. If you ever, it's big. It's like a little orange. It's really big. It doesn't even fit in their little test tube thing. They got this little test tube thing that they put it in so they can send it off for testing. You know, it didn't even fit in there. So they do the surgery. They send me on my way. Give me some medication. They give me some topical cream to help it heal, bandages, and they gave me this stuff to wash with. The kind of soap, which she gave me some kind of medical soap. She scheduled me for my follow-up, which was in 2 weeks to start my injections. I'm on my second round of injections. I did it today, and that's why I wanted to make this video. I was going to post it earlier, but some more civil unrest stuff had happened, and I just didn't feel like it was time to post it. I feel like there was more pressing things going on in the world at the moment than my keloids, so I didn't post it then. But I am posting it now. Hopefully this update gives you everything you need to know. The second video will be a Q&A video. I got tons and tons of Q&As that people have been asking me in my DMs. So I will make another video soon. So yeah, that was my experience with my keloid. If you can't tell, God's hand was all on it. If y'all don't get nothing from this, every time I put my hands to it, it got in the way of what God was trying to do. And every time that I took my hands off of it, stuff just happened instantly. Like I said, I had been trying to get this set up from the top of the year. But as soon as I took my hands off of it, the very next day, my inbox was full of people asking, how can we donate? How can we help you get the surgery? Boom. Then we back on running. I put my hands back on it. All right, let's get the surgery done. Whoop-de-whoop. Da-da-da-da. Then when I finally was frustrated, and I was like, God, I'm done. You know what? My hands is off of it again. The very next day, God was like, boom. I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say. If there's something in your life that you want to achieve, give it to God and watch Him be God on your behalf. That's literally what He wants to do. He wants to glorify my lives. He wants to glorify my situations. Give it to Him and watch Him work. When He does it, it's easy. When He does it, it lasts. When He doesn't, it doesn't fail. When we do it, it's hard. When we do it, it's temporary. And when we do it, it's a possibility that it will fail. But God never fails. He's perfect. He's all-knowing. And He's working things out for our good. So my name is Adrian. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in and hanging out this whole time with me. Stop giving power to your insecurities. Release them of their duties so you can take your life back. All right. Peace. I love y'all.